Do you think the problem is many male coaches take on females athletes, but they don't know really the human the female body? Just because,
100%.
like, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just gonna mention Chris Aceto doesn't have females.
No, no, he doesn't, and he doesn't want to.
Because
Um,
I think that's a whole different,
mhm.
they have to understand it's you
Kevin,
know
I've seen protocols that look like a full open bodybuilder. I've
yeah.
seen women taking 200 milligrams of Trembolone combined with 200 milligrams of testosterone combined with 200 milligrams of Masterone, Primobolan,
I see them
Proviron.
on D-ball, Dianabol,
Uh-huh.
Anabol. Crazy.
You name it.
Yeah.
I've seen it at all.
And probably, I guarantee you, a male coach, I'm not going to mistake mentioning names like Chris Cedar, they'll probably take on a female and they'll put her on a certain amount of stuff and they'll just drive him crazy and they'll say, I can't handle this and just let her go after all, the 3 months they spent with the person, So I think, so I don't keep you, that I think that's a real big problem.
Huge, huge,
Yeah.
huge. For instance, I myself, I don't take more than five milligrams of testosterone per week. 5 milligrams is TRT for females, BHRT, bioidentical hormonal replacement. That's all I need. Why are women taking 200? And let me tell you something. Some of those women, okay, they're not winning.
No, no, no.
That's
They're
the
not.
point. Hey, everybody. This is Coach Eric Brozer. Welcome to episode number 58 of the Muscle News and Merlin Bodybuilding Podcast. I am, of course, here with my partner in crime, Kevin, all the way in Malta. And for me, a very, very, very special guest, somebody that I've known for, geez, I've probably known you for like 14 years or something already. Who knows how long it's been. Amanda Machado, who is IFBB Women's Physique Pro. Uh, to me, one of the best physiques, I think, in the IFBB,
100%.
regardless, because of just an absolutely beautiful, symmetrical, proportionate, just lovely physique. I mean, beautiful. And one of the sweetest people you could ever meet. So, welcome to our podcast, Amanda.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Eric, I remember you the first time I walked into Venice Beach, Gold's Gym Venice Beach.
Yeah.
And that was in the era where everybody was getting ready. Dexter Jackson was there, Joe Roden was there. I mean, everybody was there. Stan
Sergio
had
Oliva
just
Jr., like
Sergio,
literally everybody was there.
everybody was just, I remember Stan had just arrived from France and he was still in men's physique, I believe. And it was such a cool era.
Yeah.
Oh, we had the best like family there. Like it was such a you'd be in the best mood when you go in and train there because everybody would greet everybody was rooting everybody on. It was all just it was the best time. But you weren't even a pro back then. You were just working hard to try to become a pro,
I
right?
was Eric. I don't think I ever thought about becoming a pro, to be honest. I was just there having fun and enjoying training because that's why I started in the first place. I just loved training. And I remember Brad Rowe was the first person that actually approached me and said, You should compete. And I was like, Compete in what? And he said, Well, that is this, a category called women's physique. It seems like it would be perfect for you because you like to train hard. And he was right before I actually started with him. Once he started kind of planted that seed, um, David Kalik came up to me and he coached me for a couple months, and then I transitioned to Brad, and I did my first show with Brad. We did Ferrigno Legacy, which I got first, and then Excalibur, and I got first. And
Mhm.
then I was like, oh, I think we're getting
I like
somewhere.
this.
I like this. Um, but I think it was also a wake-up call because I always won my NPC shows, and I felt like I was coming into the IFBB like a hot shit, ready to
Yeah,
take
yeah.
over the Olympia.
And then you didn't realize
And
how hard it actually was.
oh yeah, I was like, all right. So once I become a pro, which I became a pro in 2018 in Brazil at the second muscle contest ever, um, after that, I was like, all right, I think I'm just starting. It
Yeah.
felt like it took all that I knew from bodybuilding as an NPC, and then I was like, I'm so new to this now because now you're working with people who are really, I mean, not to say that NPC don't take it serious, they do. In fact, we have people that act more like a pro than
It's
pros,
true.
in the NPC.
Yeah.
But I felt the heat really. I was like, okay, so now I needed to really, really learn a little bit more and really dive into it before I was just doing as a hobby. And now that was my first show. Oh my gosh!
That
Don't
is,
say
I was gonna look, I'm going, that is not what Amanda looks like
that.
now. Hell no. Way
Yeah,
Oh
past
my
that.
gosh.
I'm going through the NPC site. There's everything.
Yeah, yeah. So that was I was so new to that I didn't even put a makeup on my face
I
really
know, I was
to
just looking, I was going, how come her face looks so like,
yeah, 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 yeah. I remember everybody said, I don't think you matched your color with
yeah,
your face of your color with your body. I was like, was I supposed to do that?
I was supposed to put color on my face? That's
And
funny.
Happens.
so
Yeah.
I was, I believe it or not, too, I think I stepped on that stage a little less than 130 pounds, and now I step on stage at 158.
I just said, looking at that picture, I was like, that's an old picture because that is not what Amanda is like now. I know what
No,
you look
no.
like now,
Yeah.
but yeah, but that's
New
a
York,
great,
I
but
think New York Pro was really like one of my favorite looks. Yeah, New
yeah,
York
that
Pro
was a
was,
great look. I remember when
oh,
you
I
did that.
love that look. I really do.
Yeah, and see,
You
this
always
is what I mean. Your physique is just like so beautiful, so proportionate, so your V taper, your shoulders. I mean, it's you just have such a wonderful physique to look at. It's just so feminine and but yet at the same time amazing. And
yeah,
I've
yeah.
always I've always thought that about you. I mean, I even remember, like I said, going back to Golds, because
Hmm.
obviously Dave Borlay, obviously Dave, who
Yeah.
filmed you a couple of we would talk about you and we first of all because you would train your ass off. And
Yeah.
we both would be like, yeah, she's gonna be a pro one day. I think she's gonna be a pro one day for sure. Like
Mhm.
she's got the it factor. But it is true though. It's like when you win your pro card, you're like at the top of the food chain. And then when you get to the pros, you're like back at the bottom of the food chain again. And you
Oh
feel like
yeah.
now I got to work back up that food chain. So it's been
Because
taking you years to do it.
because when you are just starting, I think anything kind of works, right? I remember I was learning about ketogenic diets. I was learning about different types of training. Now, if you are coming, I never really came from like overweight, body. I was always very athletic. I was a swimmer back in Brazil. I was swimming for a big team in Brazil called Corinthians, and I always been very active. So I did my trouble really was to build muscle, not necessarily to get lean. That's why a lot
You're
of people
always lean. As long as
I'm
I've known you,
always
you've been lean.
I've
You're
always been
never out of
very
shape.
lean. And so for me, it was just a matter of learning the science of building muscle and understanding that it's not what a lot of women are told or a lot of women, believe is the right way, which is cutting calories, doing tons of cardio. When you are a bodybuilder from, the bigger girl on, like I'm talking about is now figure women's physique, women's bodybuilding, it's about eating, training correctly and recovering. So if you are telling a woman during the off season to eat something close to 3,500 calories, it's a mind shift that you have to be ready for it because you're like, wait a minute, I'm gonna gain fat. And you're like, but you cannot gain muscle if you don't eat on a surplus. It's just scientifically hard to do so. So I had to shift a lot of things, and I think the transitioning from that petite woman into a true bodybuilder took me some time because I didn't have the right coaching around me. Not to
Yeah.
say the Brad was great, don't get me wrong, but I had to work with somebody that took everything that I knew away from me and gave me new information. Because prior to that, I worked with Francisco Spin from Europe, and he's a very very well coach in Spain. And he taught me a lot of things too. And in fact, I became a pro with him. But I was still into the ketogenic diet,
I
and
remember that you were always ketogenic. When we used to talk, it was like you didn't eat any carbs ever.
yeah, ever. And I remember when I spoke to him about it, he was okay with doing what I was doing before and just, getting a little better here and there with what I was doing. But what I needed is somebody to say,
No,
stop.
no, this is not how
And
you get to the
I
next
feel
level.
like I think I'm a good athlete in terms of learning from my coach and respecting what my coach says. So every time that I had a coach, I said, okay, I will listen to what you have to say. So when I first met Dom, my fiance now, and he's my coach, he looked at me, he said, you're not doing a ketogenic diet anymore. Like
Yeah.
you're done doing
It's
ketogenic diet.
very, very difficult to continually gain muscle with no carbs in the system because, insulin is an extremely powerful muscle building hormone used correctly. Obviously, if you overdo it, you can get fat, but you need that. You need those carbs. I mean, that's an essential part of the muscle building process. So you were like, in a sense, holding back your body from expanding and growing by not eating any carbs, right? I mean, like
Mhm.
didn't it change for you like immediately as soon as you started eating carbs?
It changed completely. And the crazy thing too, Eric, is that my body was so used to ketogenic diets that I had to actually do a little bit of insulin to teach my body how to use
Probably
carbohydrates.
stopped, right? Your body probably wasn't even not used to even producing it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
I think it's when we are talking about female bodybuilding, and as you probably could see when Kevin put the first video, there was one little comment there says disgusting,
No,
which
I know, I
that,
saw it.
Whatever.
that's something very common, unfortunately, that we
Yeah,
see
yeah.
in the industry, which I'm bulletproof already, right? I don't care
You don't
anymore.
care. No.
But it's something that we need to remember that when we are working with females, in my case, I'm a coach too, or when somebody's working with me, Dom, we need to take into consideration that there will be a lot of changes in a female body. It's just, let's be honest, I didn't get to where I am taking creatine, like
And that's very honest of you to say because a lot of people won't even say stuff like that.
no,
But
no, I'm
but
gonna be honest. Do I
but
think that that's something that everybody should do if they're not into really taking it serious into the bodybuilding and actually are honest with themselves to see a potential future in the sport due to their genetics and structure? Because let's be honest, it's about structure too. So if the person is willing to do all of those things, there are so many things that you can do to not get too much in the far end of things with a female. Now, can somebody look at me and think that I still look like a dude? Yeah, sure. The majority of people don't say that, but
no,
some do because it's just the way that they approach bodybuilding in general. They even
Well,
look
because
at,
some people think that any amount of
oh, they
muscle
look
on a
like a
girl makes
bikini
them
girl.
look
but like
non-feminine.
if you see this photo, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean,
Now,
Right.
the thing is, I
but then if you are wearing a
there's
tank top and you're walking
extremes.
around,
There's extremes. I see
If
not
you do the video of if you do Kevin the video of my back, which is the one that it's the last one that I did. In fact, that was the one that Eric was there too, and he looked at me. He's like, "Holy crap!"
with the pink, you're wearing pink.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if that particular video, if somebody looks at that video, they're like,
they're gonna
"What
be,
am I
that's a
looking
dude's
at?
back. That's a dude's back.
What am I looking at?"
Yeah.
But you know
Right?
what, Amanda? When people see this, obviously, look, the development's incredible. But like the thing about you is that, I see you in person. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't see you in person, just see videos. And in person, as muscular as you are, you
That's the
haven't
thing.
overdone it to the point where you don't look like
Female.
a beautiful
Yeah.
woman. Like, I mean, you just, like you don't have a manly face. You still have the feminine look about you. And when you're not flexing and you're just standing there, you still
Oh,
look, you know what I'm saying? You still look, I mean, obviously we can see you have muscle, but it's
Yeah,
not so overwhelming. So when you see you in person, it's a different thing when you see you on a video when you're training,
right.
and all the muscles are flexing, especially when you're ripped. It gives you a different perspective. But
But
listen, some people, I'm sorry, Kevin, just some people
sorry.
out there, no matter, they just don't want to see any muscle on a girl, and that's their
No,
business.
but
right.
the thing is, when you're going into a contest, it's one thing. You don't have, that's a different. That's like a couple of days. But some, all right, men, even if they exaggerate, they're still a man. I mean that it is what it is. We can't run away from it. But some women, um, it's like when you come to promote the sport, which I've been doing almost my entire life. Um, when you come to promote the sport, some women do go overboard,
Mhm.
and the general, society will say. I remember Corey Everson when she was at her peak. Everybody was like,
Oh,
"Oh my
yeah.
God!" She look at her legs, look at her arms.
And to now she'd be tiny.
Yeah,
She'd
fast
be like,
forward,
she wouldn't even be figure.
yeah,
No.
15, 20 years, we know what type of female bodybuilders were on stage. And now it looks like it went back a couple of steps, because like maybe we can talk about today between women's physique and women's bodybuilding. There's
Well, we
like,
want to talk about that a lot, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's like some crossed it and they stay in women's physique. And like last week, 2 weeks ago, Eric, I got confused with one, with what's her name? That girl. And
That's the girl that Amanda and I were talking about in the
yeah, and
gym
I was
who
looking for
who
her.
won the show,
Yeah.
who looked like a bodybuilder, and it was a little bit like, wait a second, what are we doing here,
Yeah,
right? What was her name, Amanda? You remember?
Sarah. Her
Yeah,
name's
yeah.
Sarah.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
couldn't find her in women's bodybuilding on the list. I'm saying, am I seeing it wrong? And then I go into women's physique, and she finishes in fourth. I was like, what the hell's happening
That was
here?
in her second show, yeah.
Yeah,
So what happened with that is it's kind of unfortunate because when she went to do her first show, it was, I think, from anybody who is watching from the outside and they have a little bit more experience, because I started, like Eric said, we met each other 14 years ago. So I've been watching bodybuilding and living around the bodybuilders for 14 years. I understand that the sport is evolving and it's growing, but if women's physique is evolving into women's bodybuilding, what is women's bodybuilding about then? Because we
Right.
already have an evolution of women's physique, which is women's bodybuilding.
yeah.
So this claim of the sport is evolving for a female bodybuilder to be competing in women's physique, what is women's bodybuilding about?
Yeah, what are they supposed to do now? Start looking like actual men? Like, I mean, like you can't
That's the thing.
evolve past that. I mean, this is the thing that Kevin and I talk about all the time, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, Amanda, because you and I talked about this extensively. If you're going to have different divisions in the physique sports, they need to be divisions. So there needs to be a criteria by which you judge physique versus bodybuilding, bikini versus wellness, now the new fit model versus bikini. There's got to be a line because if you start if they start melting into each other, then the girls don't know what to do. They don't know how to be judged,
Yeah,
and there's no longer division. So when you see a physique like that, like you said, that girl, I when I first saw her, I didn't know who you were talking about, and then we were talking about her on the show when she plays fourth in that show, and I'm going, wow, she looks like a bodybuilder. She doesn't look like women's physique.
An
You
amazing,
look at,
and
amazing
she moved
physique.
to bodybuilding now.
So yeah, so that's what I was saying. So anybody that is watching and understands bodybuilding, they would be, because when she came off the stage when she won by 1 point against an athlete that is actually working with my fiance, Susan. The claim wasn't my client is better. The claim wasn't that. The claim, which the half of women's physique were saying Sarah belongs to women's bodybuilding. Now, the differences were so big. Beautiful physique. Look at that.
yeah, it
The
wasn't
di-
a knock on her physique. Her physique's amazing,
yeah,
but she should be bodybuilding.
absolutely. So the differences when she won the first show against the girl who got second, Susan, was by 1 point. Eric, how can you look at that physique and say that she wins by 1 point against somebody who is 5 times smaller than her?
It
So
doesn't.
if you are a coach that understands, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, something they were hesitant to give her the first place. So they would try to investigate, right? So
Mhm.
then instead of investigating, they actually did something really good. They actually did, and she won the show. She won the qualification for the Olympia, and then she did another show just to confirm. That's when she went from first to fourth. Then they were like, okay, time out. We need to speak to the judges. And then one thing that I learned too, Eric and Kevin, again, I not here to say anything badly about the federation, which I still compete and I'm active in it, and we have clients in it.
There's nothing
But
wrong.
they need to have internal conversations and meetings just like any other company that they meet quarterly or annually, where they sit down and they go through a course to learn what the physiques or what the criterias are, what the rules are. Because if you one show she wins by 1 point, the next one she won by fourth, and she actually looked better on the second show by my eyes.
Right.
What is the mistake here? Is the judging panel, right?
Yeah, it's the judging panel. And the truth of the matter is that, you could have literally, if they were going to do what they really should have done, she should have placed like, and not because her physique was poor, but because she didn't belong in the division, she should have placed like 10th.
Hmm.
Like it should have been a clear message. Like, so when she comes after the show and says, I look so good, how do I place 10th? And they say, because you need to be in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You're not, if you look at Miss Olympia, Natalia Coelho, who we're going to use as the standard because she's Miss Olympia, you're nothing like her. You're more equivalent to several girls you could pick in the women's bodybuilding. And that's the way it should go. And I'm glad that, they sort of placed her fourth and then kind of like
Oh,
gave her, but it really should have been from the very first show. She shouldn't have, again, her physique's amazing. But she shouldn't have won that show because it's like if a figure girl went into a bikini show and they gave a figure girl first place and she looked amazing, you'd be like, but she's not bikini. So it's
Eric,
just,
is the same as giving the analogy of Nick Walker winning a classic physique.
yeah, he's not.
Would would Nick Walker steal the show?
of
Yes,
course.
he would.
Yeah,
Massive, big, hard, incredible,
yeah. Is
incredible.
he going to start doing classic pose? If he does classic poses, he's not a classic physique. It just doesn't
But
work.
but what is going on if he wins a show is the same. You look at her, beautiful physique,
Yeah.
beautiful presentation, incredible development from what she was to where she is right now, but it's just a different category. And one thing that I am actually happy that it happened is that she knows before going to the Olympia, because this woman is going to dedicate her year to go to the Olympia for the first time. She's gonna work as hard as she has been working to get there and then get a lesson?
No, but
Yeah,
No.
she
yeah.
switched now.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm glad that she did that, because I don't think it would be fair for the federation to do that to anybody.
What's not?
Yeah, it would suck if she ended up at the Olympian place like dead last, and that was the
Yeah,
lesson time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So I'm glad that I don't think she's actually taking a time off right now. What I heard her saying is she's taking some time off to do a next year show for women's physique, which I don't think it would be necessary. She would probably be a top five right now in women's bodybuilding in my eyes.
I mean,
But
she's in great condition. She gets that condition. A lot of female bodybuilders don't. Like,
She
we
can
were,
easily be first call out in the Olympia as a bodybuilder,
yeah.
for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. First call out, absolutely. But I also agree with her in some of the things that she said. She needs to take a recomp. She needs to take off the foot out of the accelerator, because we all know here, we all bodybuild, right? We know what it takes to look like she did the last two shows, and I'm with her when it comes to taking a break and understanding the longevity in the sport that she wants to compete in, right?
Well, of course, and the fact that she won the show, nobody could be angry at her. It's not her fault. She's not the
Exactly.
judge, so
Yeah,
it's not her fault.
yeah.
It was really
No.
the judges, and also just I agree with you so much in what you said before, in that I feel like there needs to be, if you're going to take the NPC and the IFBB, there needs to be like a quarterly or something. The judges, the promoter, whatever it is, get everybody together and get everybody on the same page
Yep.
so that even like sometimes you see judging in the West Coast and the East Coast can be different, like or like some prefer this level of hardness and some people want size. I think you really need to get a criteria across the board for exactly what you want in each division, so every girl, even guy in their divisions, has a clear vision of what they need to bring to the stage
Mm-hmm.
for their division. And I don't know if there's enough of that because you sometimes you see like weird placings, depending on what panel you're in front of, but it shouldn't be that diverse.
Yeah.
Like, if you're coming in the same condition, it shouldn't be that diverse. So it
But
needs to be more regulation, I think.
the thing is, why should, I mean, obviously the NPC is not a small, you know, federation or whatever you want to call it. Why should a girl like that have to bow down to pressure from the media, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to take a decision? You know what? I mean, um, I don't think nothing's wrong if the president, vice president, Steve Weinberger comes out and say, "Listen, we're going down the wrong road here. We have to change things." You know, I think the athletes would appreciate it more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I put up a post on my Instagram when we're promoting one of our shows. I didn't promote it to put her down. I promoted I promoted it because I couldn't literally figure out what she was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I made it. I mean, it's not like I mean I admit it. I'm not focused only on female bodybuilding, but s- my practically my whole life seeing physiques. I couldn't. I really made. I couldn't figure it out, and I just wanted to put it up out there, and of all the comments, everybody said she should stay in women's body, she should go to women's bodybuilding. So
Mm-hmm.
now, like you guys are saying, they should do some kind of, I don't know, course or, judging. I
Absolutely.
mean, in Europe, the other IFBB, when they had the split, they do it. There's courses every month all over Europe online, or you go to a country and there's a whole course. They do it every month, and they're really strict about it. But still there's mistakes, like what I mean, I was at a show in Malta, a pro qualifier, and this girl came up in bikini and she had a fantastic physique, but she had a six-pack that men don't even have, not sticking out, just flat, and it perfect. And she didn't win. They placed her fourth or fifth. And she asked the judges, and they told her, "You're too muscular. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot be a bikini athlete looking like that." She looks
Mm-hmm.
amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but
Just in the wrong division.
I mean,
Period.
she had
You
to
know.
tone down because she cannot go into women's physique. She was too petite. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, sometimes
Stick to the
they,
category
yeah,
to allow the girls to decide what they want to do. If a woman loves to train as hard as she loves to train and her genetics allows her to really grow, and for example, if you look at Levina Barros, if you pull up her pictures right now, incredible physique. She was born to be a woman's bodybuilder. Every time she trains, every time she eats, that woman just grows by looking at the weights. Now, that's a perfect category for her because number one, she doesn't mind growing the way that she's growing, right? Because number one, we want to ask too these females, what do they want to look like? Not just what six or seven or nine people in the judging panel want them to look like. Like when I think about women's physique, what I want to do with my body, I do what number one, my category allows me to do, but also how I want to show my body. I wanted to have a little bit more shoulders. Dom said, I don't think you necessarily need more shoulders, but I want a little tap of more shoulders. That's the
Yeah.
presentation I want to show on stage. So I'm sticking to what I want. So going back to the categories, what a woman feels comfortable with, growing as large as she wants, goes to women's bodybuilding. Doesn't mind X, Y, and Z happening during the process, or is okay with that. Go to women's bodybuilding, women's physique, figure, bikini. We're made to not only allow the girls to choose what they want to look like, but also go with genetically what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Now, I want to be clear about saying this because I don't want people to confuse what they're capable of doing genetically with work ethics. Because saying that that's what she's capable of doing as like a work ethic, I mean, man, I've seen women's, in the bikini category, just crushing a man's bodybuilding when it comes to performance, the
Yeah.
metrics,
Yeah. Yeah.
eating what they have to, not getting out of their diet, training the way they have to. I have somebody that is in our team. He's an NPC competitor, incredible bodybuilder. It's still not yet there to win a show just because he needs a little bit more legs and he had an issue with his knees. But if you look at his check-ins, Eric and Kevin, this guy is a lunatic. I'm talking about the weight, how many hours he slept, how much water he drank, what he trained that day, his blood pressure, his blood sugar. I mean, and he crushes. So, going back to that is what a woman can do genetically. Because everybody as a pro who are getting first call outs, they're all workhorses.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they're all
yeah. I
really
mean, everybody who's on that level is working their ass off
right.
regardless. And some people are more meticulous than others. But the thing is, it's true though, like when I understand what you're saying with the genetics thing, because the truth of it is, somebody like you, Amanda, I think if you said, I want to be a women's bodybuilder, you have the capability of doing that. I think you do. If you were pushing it to that with all the things you need to do, you can gain that size, but you also have to choose as a person being comfortable in your own skin and being, this is the level of muscularity that I'm comfortable with, and this is the level of size I'm comfortable with, and I still want to look like this. And, and some women, they don't care what other people think. They don't care what they just want to be as big as possible, as shredded. They want to be freaks of nature, and that's their right to do that.
Yeah,
But I mean,
absolutely.
but
But I think it's important to validate too that some women in bodybuilding don't want to get that big, and
But
some women will not probably get that big genetically. So that's
but
Andrea, amazing number one in women's
yes,
bodybuilding.
but
she's
but
the
I
standard.
still see it not as extreme as it was
But
10,
there
20
are
years
girls who are
ago.
way more extreme than her,
Oh yeah.
Kevin. I mean, there's
Yes,
girls who like make
yeah,
her
of
look
course.
small.
But half
She
of them
just
don't
has she's like a Flex Wheeler of
yeah,
female.
but half of them don't compete. There's that Russian girl, geez, I don't know what the hell. She looks like,
Ah,
No, I know who you're
yeah,
talking about. She's
yeah,
gigantic.
a walking, wardrobe. You know what I mean? She puts guys to shame. Can you
yeah, she's
imagine her walking on stage? And
incredible. But Andrea, but again, so that we gotta remember that bodybuilding is about genetics too.
yeah,
Look at that.
yeah.
The
Like I
way that
said,
her muscles are in
She's
the
yeah. There's thickness. So there's the thickness and the
she's
definition.
got
And
enough muscle to certainly be a bodybuilder, but she also
yes,
has that just the beautiful lines. I mean, it's the difference between a Flex Wheeler physique and a Nick Walker physique. That sometimes a Flex Wheeler is going to beat a Nick Walker just because they're just the
yeah,
beauty of their physique. I mean, bodybuilding is not just about size,
yeah.
but
Mhm.
that but she's the standard, and right now, and that's what people look for. But yeah, I mean, you have to just decide what you feel comfortable with and what you want to do, because at the end of the day, there's very few times that you're standing in front of a panel of judges. Every day you're walking outside and you're living your life, and or maybe you have a lover or a significant other, and it's who you want to attract and who you want to be with. So it's your choice. But just when it comes to the sport itself, we have to just make sure that the right girls are in the right division, meaning you're competing with peers who are after the same thing that you are. And if you're going to have somebody like a Natalia Coelho as the current standard, she's not even close to being a bodybuilder. Her condition is, but size-wise, she's not even close. She'd get
Mhm.
crushed on a bodybuilding stage. So what do we want to look like? We want to look like you, Amanda. We want to look like her. We want, so when you see, but it's good that since the time that we spoke that it got taken care of with what's her name? I'm sorry, I forgot her name
Sarah,
again.
Sarah.
Sarah. It's good
Mhm.
that there was some obviously some conversation about it behind the scenes and some, and then things kind of got corrected, because if you don't correct it, then you're going to start to see even more problems. You're going to start to see more girls maybe, crossing into that, and I don't think you'd really see much of that problem so much with women's physique girls doing well in bodybuilding, but you can see a lot of female bodybuilders just because they're so incredible looking, doing well in physique, where you're going, wait a second, that's too much for our division.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And
But
I'm actually very happy for her because she seems like somebody that puts in the work and enjoys, training. And she even mentioned, she said, that is no way that I'm going to downsize, because I think the federation, the judges ask her to downsize if she wants to go to women's physique in the Olympia, and she said she won't. So then the next thing is to move up, and that's great for the division to see that they are pay attention to keeping the division the way that they're supposed to. And I'm super happy about that, and I think she's gonna fucking crush it.
are you happy with the division, if within the physique, women's physique division? Are you happy the way it's progressed over the years from when you first turned pro to now? Like, are you seeing the girls and yourself moving in a direction that you like, that you think that it's going well, or do you see problems with it or anything? Or
I think so. Remember, we started with Danielle Bailey. Then we went to Juliana Malacarney. We went with Shanique. And then from Shanique, we went to Sarah. And then now it's Sarah, between Sarah and Natalia, right? So we did progress a lot. And I would say, not to take anything away from Danielle Bailey, but I don't think that Dana would have a choice right now to be even a top three if she presented the same physique that she presented the very first time. Now, had she continued and moved up as we progress with women's physique? Maybe, right? The same with Juliana Malacarney. If she had progressed and getting tighter, getting leaner in certain areas, condition, would she remain the champion? Possibly, because she would be transitioning to the evolution too that we talked about, of just small little details, right? We're not talking about a petite back to a huge back. We're talking about little by little increments, adding some touches of things, right? More the condition, more glutes tie in, and things like that. Now, I do support the changes in a sense because it's just a little bit natural of the human body for somebody who is consistent, right? So in my case, for example, would I be in trouble if women's physique was not allowing me to progress as I progress as an athlete? It would, because the person that doesn't really progress, Eric and Kevin, I think is the person that does not take the off season serious. So if they get off from the stage and they're like, I'll see you next year on stage again, and then they go off on they don't really, they do their reverse PCT, they don't pay attention to what they're eating all kinds of stuff, crap, not really eating what they're supposed to train and training heavily, they won't progress. So then they're going to be stuck into the women's physique of forever, right? Because they're presenting the same physique every year. Now, a person who is taking their off season, serious, then you're going to have to see the evolution because,
we don't
like,
go
if
in the
we,
gym to stay the same. It's basically,
yeah, so it's like, do I embrace the evolution of a little bit tighter, a little bit more, a little bit inches on the quads, getting a little bit my striations here on the tie-ins? Yes. But now having a back, of Natalia Coelho versus a back of a woman's bodybuilding, that's not evolution. That's different categories.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like this photo, there. I mean, there would you can see the difference. Look at this. I mean, on her
Mhm,
own, she looks like a monster,
mhm, mhm.
Natalia. But when she's next to the Miss Olympia,
Yeah.
it's a totally different, there, look, that's the difference. You can see it. Even
Well, if you
even
had them standing in bikinis next to each other, you'd see clearly this is
yeah.
two different divisions.
Yeah, but
It's
then when you
like,
see her
you
like
know,
this, you say, what's happening? You know what I mean?
well, because she's got listen, Natalia has a ton of muscle, but it's all
Yeah,
relative.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like our current classic Mr. Olympia, you know,
Beautiful.
Ramon, if you put
Yeah.
him next to, and he's got a ton of muscle, put him next to Nick Walker and he looks like a midget. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's all relative to the division and what it's even even within the bodybuilding division, especially I think it was probably more years ago, it was a little bit more different, but you'd have physiques like a Lee Labrada standing next to a Lee Haney,
Yeah.
I mean, Lee Haney outweighing him by 80 pounds, and they're still first and second. So it's like, but they're still bodybuilders. So they could just, but if you see Lee Labrada walking around by himself, he's going to look like a monster to most people.
Yeah.
But then if
Yep.
Lee Haney walks in the room, he's going to look, oh my God. And then if Ronnie Coleman walks into the room at his best,
That's
he's going to make
evolution.
Lee
Yeah.
Haney look small. So it's all just relative to what you're seeing. But I
Yeah.
was curious, Amanda, the way you look, obviously, I know you're always trying to improve and you want to, your goal is to do as best you possibly can. When you look at your physique now, what is it mostly that you still look at your physique and go, this is what I want to be better? This is what I want to do with myself. Is it a matter of, is it refinement now, not really more size, or is there still some body parts you want to add to? Like going forward, I mean, obviously this year you're going to do as best you can, but you're not in your progress season now. You're in your contest prep phase. So
Yeah.
going forward, what would you want to do with yourself personally with your physique?
I definitely want more sweep of my quads and tie ends, glutes tie ends. So the reason why is because if you look at the, again, evolution of women's physique, glutes were not as pronounced as it is now, especially that, when you look at Denalyn Bailey and then you see a little bit more glutes on Juliana Malacarne, not a lot of condition there in that particular era. Then we have, oh, my apologies, my light went off.
I saw that's okay.
Should I turn it on? Can you guys edit it?
We could still see you. I mean, unless you
still
want to
see
just
what I
go
mean.
turn it on.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it
Yeah, go
on
turn
real
it on.
quick. It takes a second. I'm sure you guys can edit it, right?
Well, she comes back. Look at this. Look at this amazing footage.
What are we looking at? Oh, look at her. I'm telling you, dude.
While
I see
she's
her in
talking,
person.
I'm going through the photos.
I see her in person. You can't, I mean, as good as this looks, when you see her in person, you're like, God damn.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'm
Wait, I
walking
don't
up to her, I'm
see
like,
it.
Amanda, God damn. Just
What is
a
it?
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sitting here admiring you right now, Amanda. I'm like, you
Thank
should
you.
see her in person. But still, look at that beautiful face on you, Amanda. Like
Thank
you're
you.
so gorgeous.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But so what I was saying is that the evolution of the sport, you can see it already in certain muscles presentation on stage. So when you look at the glutes, I think what is going on is that we have women in bringing a little bit more development in the glute area in women's bodybuilding. If you look at the top, I would say the top five. And now we have a different division, wellness, which brings a lot of attention to the judges to see that particular muscle pronounced. So when you go to a women's physique category and you see a huge lack there, like I said back in the day, we have so many things to train, right? We have to train legs, we have to do back, we have to do this and that. So we were not really paying much attention to one particular area, which some people can develop the glutes just by squatting, and some women can't. I know a lot of powerlifters who are incredible squatters. They have the form, they're strong, they have the proper, mobility to go ass to the, ass to the grass, and they don't have glutes.
Well, you and I know, listen, look at Christina in our gym. Quads the
She doesn't
size
squat.
of most heavyweight men, and she
She
has so
doesn't
much trouble
squat.
with her glutes.
Yes.
But I'm saying like it's amazing her quad
Mhm.
hamstring development and glutes is what she needs to focus on, because especially because now she's gone to wellness. But I mean, like it used to be amazing to see, because usually when you see somebody with thighs that big, it's usually you see some glutes to go along with it. But she
Yeah.
had so much trouble developing glutes. So it's amazing how the body, and it could also just be the fact that she trains her quads and hands so efficiently that she's not even bringing her glutes into play. You know, it could also be her form because she's growing a lot more now. But yeah, it's amazing how you have to focus on that part.
You
It's
have
a
to
new.
that's one of the things that I want to bring to everybody's attention is that you cannot grab somebody's training program and do it on your own. Like you cannot do that because unless you have, and you know as a trainer, unless you have an eye and you look at the person and you say you need to develop X, Y, and Z, and you put that person through a workout and you see what the person is capable of moving, then you dictate what the person needs. Because if I was to count on only squats to grow my glutes would be huge right now. I love squatting. My glutes did not start changing until I implemented some other movements.
Yep.
So to answer your question, my glutes have to come up because they did not come up throughout my whole career. My sweep of my quads did not come up because I was doing movements that other parts of my body was just helping. I'm a very strong person. Like I can move weight really easily in a sense of like compared to the majority of women, right? I squat 3 plates. I mean, I've done 16 plates on a belt squat, 8. So that's a lot of weight. Now, does that translate into muscle growth if I'm not particularly moving my body the right
Not
way? No,
necessarily. No.
No.
I'm just a
It's
strong
not
person.
about that. It's not about just how much weight you lift, you know, from point A to point B, which and a lot of times you discover that many years into your training. And then, in the beginning, it's just like, if I lift heavier, I get bigger. It's not always that equation. It's not always that
Yeah.
equation.
Yeah.
So
So, but
that's
yeah, so
why
that's so sweep. Yeah, because you've talked to me about the sweep before. You've always wanted to build more sweep, and we've talked about glutes and glute tie-in also.
glutes and
So,
sweeps. That's because now, and it's crazy because before it was my back, but then my back, I don't know what the heck happened last
no, your
year.
back came up a lot. Your back came up a lot.
I'm amazed to look my before and after when it comes to my back. It's just insane. But my glutes and the sweep of my quads definitely will be something that's gonna be on my radar.
So like if you're going to go into the 2027 season and say I want a new Amanda 2027, that's going to be the focus.
100%.
It's okay. Okay. So that's
Now I have
really
a question for you, Eric. When I am switching my focus, Would would I have to take my focus away a little bit from other areas? So for example, right now I have 2 leg days and I have 2 back days and I have 1 push day. I touch a little bit of shoulders with a back day too, my second back day. So it's, being tapped twice too. But like for instance, if I'm focusing more on the sweep of the quads and then on the glutes, would I have to implement a glute day alone there? And then maybe take a back day away, or how would it be?
well. Like if I was working with you, which we have discussed before, which I would still love to do. Um, yeah, I probably would say like let's take the body parts on you that are like your best, and like that we don't really need necessarily to hammer. And I might take either a day out or just do maybe a smaller, very, very small mini workout for that body part, and then actually implement just a day that was really just meant for your glutes and your glute hamstring tie-in. Because that's it's obvious that your body needs to have that extra focus on that area to make the progress you need. It's like, if you have body parts that grow relatively easily, you could probably train them once a week. You might even not have to crush them anymore. They just respond. But on body parts that don't respond, there's a reason for it, whether it's technique or exercises or central nervous system. And we have to overcome that. We have to find out what that is. So a lot of times when I've been working with pros or other people, so I just started working with this guy who's getting ready for the North Americans and then the Amateur Olympians Physique. I am literally just working with him because the judges said you need more upper chest, you need more mid back. So I'm doing just one upper chest day with him, all upper chest, one mid back day with him, and then he's kind of having like a mini day to just, kind of hit him again a little bit. So, but I'm making sure that we have to completely focus on these areas because if they're not coming up naturally like the other body parts, there's a reason for it. So we need to sometimes the body just sometimes there's not as the nerve force isn't as strong to these muscle groups. Sometimes they're not getting the same signals that the other body parts are so easily getting. Sometimes it's in small form or techniques or angles that I have to discover that they're missing, because I could watch a person train and see where they're pulling or pushing a weight from and how I need to adjust their body or their angle so that they can better do it. So I'm making a long answer, but yes, I believe that it would benefit you for at least a period of some months to take away a little bit from some body parts which aren't going to go anywhere and focus so that you can really bring those parts up. Because if you try to do it all at the same time, you probably won't get the results you actually want out of those body parts,
Yeah,
out of those areas. So yes, I would definitely do that.
I agree. Definitely.
We could talk more about that, but
Sure.
this is about you. It's not supposed to be about me, but very cool question though.
Definitely.
So Kevin, what? Go ahead. I know you have something to say here.
I mean, so you're doing Tampa, and
I
looking
am.
at your previous placings,
Mm-hmm.
you could be a front runner to win, right? I mean, you're going for the win. I mean, the way
Mm-hmm.
I see, I mean, I went into, how you did, and I mean, in 2025, second at the New York Pro, um,
Mm-hmm.
then you got first at the
Omaha.
Omaha Pro, right? I think you like
My
that.
my Olympia, so my Olympia, my first Olympia wasn't necessarily the way that I envisioned because going back to what we were talking about genetically, I'm not a person that can stay on prep for too long
Okay.
because I'm not a very I don't have a lot of body fat to lose to begin with. So
You start prep in such good shape. It's like most people look like you towards the second half of prep. You know, I mean, I've
so
known,
I was last
Kevin,
year.
I have known her for like 14 years, and I have never once seen her in shape that would be good. Like she could guest pose anytime she wanted and look great, like because the abs are always there, the separation's always, it's almost like just this like little bit that has to come off of you. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so I last
that's
year.
genetics, but that's also your work ethic.
that's training.
Right, right, definitely. I've always been really into fitness. You don't have to tell me twice to go to the gym and train and have fun. So I'm always enjoying a lot the gym, the process. Of course, it gets a little bit tougher when you are 5 weeks out, 6 weeks out, especially as a female. You're just like really trying to get the last bits of body fat, and
Yeah.
that's a struggle. But throughout the year I have a lot of fun training and eating well. I'm not a huge I didn't grow up in Brazil eating a lot of sugar and stuff like that. So if you give me steak, some eggs, and a little bit of rice here and there, I'm fine. So with that said, last year I was on prep since January all the way until October. So by the time I got to the Olympia, Dom even looked at me. He's like, "We have a problem here because you started 20 pounds above the stage weight to go to New York, which I looked my best. And then I did Omaha and I won against a very strong lineup. Incredible women. I was not really thinking much because when I saw the lineup, I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. So I won that show, but then when I started my prep for the Olympia, I was maybe 3 pounds away from the stage weight, and I couldn't really pack any body fat or just pack some weight because I was having to get ready for the Olympia. So we tried to reverse diet, which I did. Then I had some issues with a crazy amounts of just my blood work wasn't really good. My thyroid, we had some issues. Although, again, I don't use a lot of stuff, Eric, but just that's for you
Yeah, but
to see.
naturally, sometimes things could get knocked around just by the process.
Exactly. And it's like, again, it's like going back to genetics. My body sometimes doesn't like certain things that we add in the mix, and it takes a while for me to come back. And Dom is so big on not leaving me on things all year round. And that's one of the reasons why you say, oh, you still look feminine. I know it's subjective to who is looking, but that's the reason, because we're not on stuff all year round.
And
So
that's
then
the way, that's the healthier way to go and the better way to go anyway, because if you're on stuff year round, your body's going to stop responding to it at some point anyway.
Yeah.
So when we realized that, we're like, oh crap, we won Omaha. Oh crap, the Olympics is actually in October. Like, let's come off of this. Let's add more food. But now we have to get ready again. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because, you know what I mean? So long story short, the strategy for me moving forward in my career is to do the shows towards the Olympia. If I win, great, go have a great time at Olympia. If I don't, we try it again. But I have this coming season, I have four chances. I have Tampa, I have Atlanta, I have Texas, I have the Rising Phoenix. Those are four shows, all back to back, which, listen, I don't do crazy diuretics, so I don't have crazy rebounds anyway.
Yeah.
I'm ready. And then the
There-
Olympia is just about a couple weeks later, and then good.
There's Arizona as well. Did you mention
Yeah,
that?
the
Yeah.
Rising Phoenix,
That's the Rising
So,
Phoenix. Okay, okay,
yeah.
okay.
So that's the what we realized from last year. Hey, Amanda, genetic, it's not made for this whole long year that some females do. I've seen females that is a particular female, incredible physique, incredible density. She competes all year round. Natalia competed all year round for the longest time. I've seen it.
Some
Some
people
people
can do
can.
it, but some people can't. You can't, sometimes your body, and it's interesting because sometimes you'll, obviously as a coach and having coached a gazillion people in my life, it's amazing when you can see a person who's just not responding. Like they're like, you're like doing all the right things. They're kicking ass. They're doing their cardio. You have them on the right diet, but their body isn't responding. And you have to realize,
Yeah.
you know
That's
what? This isn't the time, because if your body, you can't fight against what your biology, your physiology is doing. And so there's a time to just shut it down and go, you know what? This isn't the time to train
that,
for a show.
that's what Blessing told me last Thursday when we were talking. I said, yeah, Blessing Awudabu, the
Yeah,
boogeyman.
of course. Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
talking, and I said I really thought Toronto was your show. But as you know, in bodybuilding, Quentin came in and these freaks come in, and it's the sport. You don't expect to go to a show, just walk in alone and win. And he said, Kev, I really thought that as well, but my body went the other way. I was burnt out. He did 5 or 6 shows this year. He was peaking, and all of a sudden, he just had to shut it down. He improved. He looked great this year. Even with he had
I
some
agree too.
that injury in his knee. But he's getting back to. I mean, ideally he gets back to the New York Pro look that when he won it. I think that was 2022 or something like that. But he said I was just burnt out, and he realized it. The body wasn't responding to the exercise, maybe to the diet, and he was just feeling. He wasn't there.
Yeah, sometimes your mind is willing, but your body just isn't.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's when you have to know it and listen to it, because
yeah,
your body literally will.
yeah,
It'll either not progress, and then if you keep pushing it, it can actually regress.
yeah,
Yeah.
Even if you're doing everything right, even if you're taking PEDs, whatever if your body doesn't want to do it, it's just not going to do it. It's just basically going to say, and then if you keep pushing it long enough, that's when you get sick. That's when you have an injury. That's when you have
yeah.
real health issues, because your body's like trying to give you a signal, like, not now. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's smart. That's good that you know that about yourself, Amanda, because now you know when you do qualify, because I have no doubt you're going to, when you do qualify for the Olympia this year, you'll still be fresh and you'll still be able to peak again for the Olympia better than what you peak at these
And
other shows. So
women's physique is one victory.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Because I got confused this year. I mean, I thought the men were on points, but they're not. I mean, even Dennis James thought they were on points, and he found out last week, 2 weeks ago. Everybody thought they were on points, but there's no point system.
So I think it was more for the categories that were really packed with
The
competitors.
men's
You got to remember,
physique,
women's
bikini.
physique and men's, we're not really, we're just a
Yeah,
few of us
yeah.
in the world.
You know what I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, Eric? Um,
me,
yeah.
I'm getting a lot of questions today. What's up?
Okay. No, no. I mean, we've talked about this a lot, and that's why I wanted a female competitor on the show. I've been trying to get, female bodybuilders even retired, but women's bodybuilding, everybody, saying, there's not enough promotion, there's not enough this, or, you know, now Jake Wood loves women's bodybuilding. So he puts it into the Olympia again. It's a main event, prize money's up. You see the pro qualifiers, two competitors, three competitors. Sometimes they have to pull it out because there's not enough competitors. What do you think is happening? Is it that the athletes are going to women's physique, or it's just that they don't want to compete so many times, or I don't know. What do you think the problem is?
Oh, that's for you, Amanda.
No, no, I mean, yeah, for a man, I was just telling you.
I honestly think, guys, that
Yeah, be as honest as you can, as you feel
I'm going
comfortable
to
with.
be honest with you. I think that some females don't necessarily they do appreciate the hard work, the dedication. I see a lot of, I worked for many years at a wellness and anti-aging clinic here with Carrie Cutler, Jace
Mhm.
X. We
Hmm.
worked for many years together. I've seen hundreds of clients that worked with me, and they said several times, I want to learn from you. I love the way you look and I appreciate the dedication, but I do not want to look that way. And I think because if you look at women's bodybuilding, again, it's hard for me to say any other way because I love the sport. I love women with muscles, but it also there is a science behind being a female with a female energy, with a female touch, and having muscularity. That to me, it's way more impressive than just muscles, and flexing. Now, because we just have a few women that can really have that touch where there is a class in the posing, in behavior, in the way that they speak. Some females don't necessarily want to look that way.
Do you think maybe, because when I see the photos, it's like, do you think even like the off season, some of them really blow up?
Yeah,
They
because it's
really
hard for
like
them.
I go to your Instagram, you're basically the same, all right? Maybe the some muscle gets a bit, that little bit, covered, but you stay the same. You look normal. For me, you look, normal. But you see some of these women's pro bodybuilders, it's like, oh my God, look how she looks in the off season. She looks like a, not to say like a tank. And then they go into the diet and they look good, but that only lasts for a week. And then they get back to that, and then the things that come with what they use and things like that. It's not easy. It's not
Mhm.
easy. But the thing is, they keep pushing it at the Olympia. And then when it comes to the qualifiers, you see nobody other than Rising Phoenix, because over there, the prize money's better and things like that. But like the Toronto Pro Show, what were there, four or five? If there were,
Yeah,
yeah. And there's other shows, they
exactly.
drop them. It's like,
Mhm.
I can't understand.
And so I think it's important to remember a few things too. So number one, getting out of a prep that is not necessarily done correctly, a prep that is full of enhancements, full of fat burners, a lot of cardio, very low carb. There is no way not to rebound. There is no way. Your body is going to rebound. If you take a micronutrient, either a fat, you're going to keep the protein, but you're going to take the fat away for too long, or you're going to take carbohydrates away for too long, your body will rebound. Especially if there is a crazy amounts of T3, your thyroid hormones will go crazy. So the rebound doesn't necessarily mean the person is just eating a lot. It's just naturally how your body will react. Second, the hormones, lectin, like the hormones that causes hunger, they're so unbalanced that when you put food in your mouth, you're not gonna be able to stop. I've been there before. It's a crazy feeling. Thank God I was able to control it in a short period of time. But some women don't have the expertise coming from their coaches to reverse them, to take them away from all these crazy metabolic issues that's going to happen after prep. So then they gain a lot of weight, not necessarily just because they're eating a lot, but because their body's just wrecked. We
The-
have a crazy amounts of anti-estrogen being done lately, which anti-estrogen alone is so dangerous for females. I already spoke about that before in a podcast that I did. It's just so dangerous for your brain. A lot of women too don't necessarily realize that it causes them an immense amount of recurring and chronic UTIs, which is an infection that happens in your body when you have low estradiol. So they are just, this body is just inflamed, and when they come off, they have all these consequences happening.
you-
Now, apart from that, from looking, amazing on stage and then gaining 30 or 40 pounds, you're also talking about females that are not to say everyone, but a lot of them are not doing the promotion of the sport, right?
yeah,
How often do you see women's bodybuilding coming together and doing collaborations on YouTube? There is one person that is doing that right now. Her name is Rania. She just became a pro last year. She has a YouTube channel that has 20,000 followers right now. Each of her training videos has over 20,000 views. I do mine since 3 years ago. I have over 2.8 as a total, 2.8 million views in different videos with 100 here, 80 here. So there are people who are interested in what are we are doing. They want to see how are these females becoming so muscular? How are they training? What are they eating? Now, the females, the top of the ones, including mine own, which I tell her all the time, Livina is third in the world. She doesn't have a channel. So how are you going to promote to other women
listen,
and create a buzz and
yeah,
excitement
I've
of
asked, yeah,
of shows? The guys do that all the time.
yeah,
They
I've
collab
And
asked,
they
with
don't.
each other.
I've asked many,
Siban,
yeah,
Siban travel all the way to Brazil to collab with
yeah.
Ramon.
Yeah, yeah. I've asked many female bodybuilders to come on the show. Either they don't answer, they don't have time, I'm too busy. I'm saying we're giving you a platform to speak. And then if somebody writes something on Instagram and they don't like it, oh, you guys are against us, blah, 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 blah. No, come on the show. Why are you upset that Arnold doesn't have women's bodybuilding?
Yeah.
Or I'm letting you speak about it. What's missing? What are they doing wrong? But it's like you don't want to come on, so we'll just me and Eric will just elaborate on it, and then if we say something wrong or not wrong, they don't like it, everybody's talking on Instagram, which is good for us. But I
I'm
want
sure it's
them
gonna
to
happen.
say it. You know what I mean? It's like we're giving you the platform. Maybe thanks to you, maybe they'll say, "Listen, these guys are accepting females." Then it's like I'm not ashamed. Corey Everson, I think every second week, every time she puts a post on Facebook, I write to her, and it's like, answer me at least once. It's like,
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
Amanda, though, another thing, and I'm just being brutally honest here. I mean, and you can choose to answer or not answer, but I mean, I do feel, the majority of, first of all, bodybuilding, it has become more than anything now. Bodybuilding basically just to cover all the divisions. It's a business.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, promoters, IFB, everybody, they use it to make money.
Yeah, of
They're
course.
going to have
Like
the
in every single
divisions.
sport.
Yeah,
Every
it
single
is.
sport.
So they're going to have the divisions in their shows that draw a crowd,
yeah,
that draw competitors. And there is a reason why female bodybuilding is not drawing as much of interest a crowd. And I think that it, unfortunately, maybe because it's in some people's eyes gone too far, and that it's not, you have to look at the general public. You can't look at the people just in our sport.
yeah,
Because, of course, I can look at a female bodybuilder, and while I might not be attracted to that, I'm still like, wow, that's so impressive. Look how amazing she looks. Look at her development. Look how hard she works, whatever. But most of the people who attend bodybuilding contests, families, friends, fans, this and that, they just want to admire physiques. And I kind of feel that if they would pull back a little, and the only way to do it is if the judging did it. Um, I feel that women's bodybuilding has gone a little bit too far, and that may be why it's not drawing enough tickets, which just means why it's not getting into enough shows, why it's being pulled away by some promoters, and it's all just becoming like sort of like an avalanche effect. And then the girls are like, the prize money's low. Why should I get ready for a show? And then you have less competitors. I feel like and Kevin and I talk about this all the time because when people get mad at us, when a girl gets mad at us saying, you guys are against us, no, it's the opposite. We want to see you flourish. We want to see every division flourish. We want to see the sport flourish.
Eric, you always been so supportive of my journey. You worked too with so many female competitors. We always talk about female bodybuilding, and I can tell your eyes when you are looking at females around in the gym, like guys in general, to be honest. I rarely get a look of somebody who either one is looking at me like, "Ooh, what is this?" or looking at me or looking at other females as like, "Oh, she's fine or she's not." They're looking at like, wow, look at those delts. Oh, wow, look at the back. Look at the hard work. Look at the like those are the eyes that the majority of people look at us.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's not necessarily, not only has gone too far in certain aspects, because when it comes to certain females, it's not just the body that creates the hardness of the look, right? Because you can still have a very hard body. For example, giving the example of the person that I know the most, and that's why I keep saying her name over and over again, Levina Barros, and now Rania, who is a female bodybuilder, and Christina, when she was a female bodybuilder.
Gorgeous.
They are very, very muscular for a female, extremely muscular, right? Levina looks insane on the stage, absolutely amazing. When you talk to her, there is a very energy that it's like a finesse. She's soft spoken. She carries herself really well. She speaks really well. She loves to do content and speak to females. She's not the like, oh, like so you gotta remember, regardless of how you think of a place of a female is in the world and a man, I don't want to be here in hot water talking that way, but there is a difference, and it's a balance and it's a dance between females and male, and I think that we should appreciate that as opposed to trying to navigate it in a way where we're changing our body to look more muscular and at the same time change our personality, the way we speak to each other, the way that we carry each other, the way that we dress ourselves, putting
This
some.
sister, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's Levy.
Yeah.
And if you
I-
talk to her, Kevin, you look like it feels like you're talking to such a like a incredible feminine and soft-spoken female. There is nothing about her that really comes aggressive. For some people, the physique alone. But I think that going back to promoting the sport, if the women were able to promote a little bit more together and talk about things, for example, one person that is on our team that I think I've done a podcast with her. Her name is Sherry. She was a top five in women's bodybuilding just 2 or 3 years ago. She's coming back to the stage this year. She is in her late 40s. She crushes a lot of young girls because she looks amazing. One of the interesting story about her that she told me on her podcast is that she's a full-time dentist assistant. She has a full-time job. She works all the time and she does not complain. She's just a very well put together female. And I would love for her to one day explore that personality of a professional woman who has two daughters, who is a female bodybuilder and it's doing really well in the open division. Those are the stories that I think inspire other women too. Hey, if she can do it, I can do it. She's a mom, she's a full-time, you know what I mean? So, but we don't hear those stories.
yeah, I'm sorry because listen, some people could think that look at you and be like, that girl's way too huge for me. I can't stand that. I don't want to look at it. You know this. And there's some women who I've been told before when I was in contest condition, ugh, that's disgusting. I can't stand all those veins. I mean, whatever. Everybody has their, their opinion
But
with it, but like,
They're
but I do
entitled.
agree with you. I'm thinking about it as you're talking about it. I'm saying if these girls, and I'm talking specifically about the female bodybuilders, because we're talking about how that part of the sport is really seems to be suffering. I really think if these girls came out and presented themselves more and told their stories, maybe told people why they want to look this way, how they feel about it, what drives them to look this way. Talk about maybe how, it makes them sad to hear certain people say negative things about them, or maybe it doesn't bother me at all, whatever. If they told their stories and explain and also showed more about the rest of their life, I do this for a living, I have kids, or whatever it is, and people can relate to them more. Because if you just look at the female physique and you go, oh my God, her face looks very manly. Oh my God, her legs are bigger than mine. Oh my God, she has veins in her chest. If you just look at that and you don't hear anything behind it, it can turn you off. But if you talk to them and you realize, hey, this is a really sweet person, this is a really good person, or this person, they're just driven to do this and that's their passion for whatever reason, maybe that it would become like, and that's part of coming on the show, like our show, that we want the girls to come on and we want to give them the platform to talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. And I guess maybe they're really just not doing enough. And if they did, I'll bet you it would really uplift the sport a
So
lot.
let's put it this way, right, Eric? When we say that we have Arnold as a huge influence for fitness, right? Yeah, that big body, especially back in the day, it was very rarely you saw somebody that big, right? But then it came the little things that add to it, the accent, the acting, the things that you would hear him saying, the quotes that he said, the friendship he had with Franco. There is so much character in developing that big personality. The same thing with um, a major, I mean, Tom Platz, when he talks about squats, is almost like you are listening to a poem, be like,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
poem about
yeah,
squatting,
yeah,
and you like feel drawn to it.
yeah,
And if you hear now in this era, you have big personalities like Nick Walker, who's constantly talking about, his training, how he's going to win the Olympia, and people go against him, and he's always kind of bringing the energy of competitive energy. So you cannot take away from humans the 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 interest in getting to know personalities.
yeah,
The body can bring just a little bit of attention.
yeah.
Then there is a personality, there is a story, there is some excitement, there is also people that you don't necessarily like because they're kind of, snobby, but it creates the excitement. Now, tell me about personalities of women's bodybuilding, women's physique that you know of.
Not a lot.
Not a
There
lot.
is one person that did that really well, and that's Dana Lee Bailey.
Yeah, yeah,
100%. She became bigger than her sport. She just
I mean,
became an inspirational model for females in
I know
general.
I know her. I can hear her voice in my head because I listened to so many videos that she done.
You're
Now I
just
don't
drawn to her.
because you just remember, right? I know exactly what she sounds like. If I was to hear some of the biggest competitors right now of our era, I don't think I would recognize their voice.
No,
So
no.
I know I'm getting a little bit out of track here because
no,
we're
no,
talking about the body and that's what the sport is about. But every sport is also about personalities. You have Kobe Bryant who wrote books and podcasts, The Mama Mentality. He became bigger than basketball,
of course.
right? You have Johnson. You have Mike Tyson, who has this, like you have so many things that draw you into the person who is the athlete. And I don't
Exactly.
think that women's bodybuilding, women's physique are really doing any justice.
But that unfortunately that's their fault. You have to if you really want to see your sport flourish, then get out there and say
Eric,
your
it's
piece.
really entertainment, right? You're sitting down, you're looking at people posing and doing these poses. you're being entertained. The majority of people who don't really understand about, let's be honest, the fans, some of the fans they do know, some of them don't really know the differences of what a flat physique is, what a conditioned
No,
physique is.
no.
They're just looking, right? So what is really going to bring the excitement to see an athlete on stage that they know nothing about?
That's the thing. It's the personality. It's the build up to the show.
Like
It's
why, why does wrestling, listen, the fake wrestling, the
oh
WWE
yeah,
and everything, everybody
not
knows that it's
fake.
fake,
It's not
but it's
fake.
all
Yeah,
about person. It's not, well, it's not fake in the fact that these guys are athletes and they kill
yeah,
themselves. The
exactly.
results are fake. But I mean, it's all about personalities. It's
Of
all
course,
about, that's what people love.
the
The
interviews are
personalities.
better than the fights.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
like it's and not that we want bodybuilding to become like a farce like that, but it's like you can take, I'm not going to name anybody in particular, but you could take a guy with the most amazing physique in the world. He could even be Mr. Olympia, but he's just not, he doesn't have the personality. He doesn't know how to promote. He doesn't know how to inspire. He doesn't know how to motivate. But then you have a guy who placed 15th at the Olympia, but he's out there and he talks and he inspires and he motivates and he gives people hope and he gives all like that. And that person could become more popular than the Mr.
Why?
Olympia
Why
because
does Blessing have almost 2 million followers on Instagram
because
alone?
he's a got a personality. He's fun
You've
to
seen his
listen to.
videos with the babies and fighting with the guy at the gym and the babies wrapped around him and all this stuff.
But
It,
that's part of it, and
that's
that's what
why
we're talking about.
that's why people like him, and that's why it would have been so nice to see him at the Olympia. Not that he was going to win. It would have been uh would have been fun. Even though he's going to be there, he's not going to be on stage, right? It's like the sport lacks a lot of personality, like a lot of it's like having a president or somebody just bland, you
Yeah,
know.
isn't it amazing the way some like, like some of like just to pick to say Jay Cutler, since we know him so
Yeah.
well, like some of his biggest videos have been him food shopping
Yeah.
versus training.
Yeah.
Because yes, we've seen everybody train 1,000 times
yeah,
training biceps. How many times can you see it? But then you see a lifestyle thing. They're walking their dogs, they're at the supermarket, or maybe they're crying on camera because something really terrible happened and they want to express themselves. And those videos get millions of views because it's not just strict bodybuilding fans, it's this human, you're drawn as a human to another human of what they're
Couldn't
going through, what they
could I
do.
know there are podcasts, majority of the with men, and there are with female. Unfortunately, the subject is not like a bit of training and their life and what they like doing or just talking about the sport. It goes to the dark side of things, and people see that, and that's what they associate the sport with. It's like it's many times I'll walk by somebody and say, hey, you're the guy that does all the podcasts and you had that website. Why do you follow such a dirty sport? I mean, they're all full of whatever drugs, right? And I say, man, you're saying that, and I tell them, do what they do, all right, without training, and tell me how you'll look in 6 months, you know.
yeah.
And I tell you, have no idea what it takes to go from A to Z, you know. You have no idea what kind of personality you have, dedication, um, what you have to go through. And that's just like a small part of it. And many people are, like we said in the beginning of the show, they're eliminating stuff because they know they can do it almost on their own. And that's the continuous fight I have with people, trying to put the good into the sport. But if the athletes don't help themselves, how can we help him? And then you know what the media does? They invent drama. Like there
Right.
are a number of podcasts that just invent drama. Somebody says one sentence and that's it. It's a story.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's good for the sport if you have somebody sparking off something, not a negative thing, like I mean, there's so many things that happened last year and some things this year that puts a
A
dark
bad
cloud
taste.
over the
Yeah.
sport. You know what I mean? There has to be more positive. Like Chris Bumstead, do we ever see something negative about him?
No.
I mean, the guy, just washing his car or people just because they like him.
Yeah.
or that video he
But
put.
that's what it means to have a good team. I don't know. I'm assuming he does have a good marketing PR team
Yes, yes, he does.
because he doesn't grab the phone and say whatever he wants. Because I'm hoping that even when he feels like it, somebody's saying, "Be careful."
Yes,
Because we saw what happened with Martin. He lost all of his sponsors for his behaviors. If
yeah,
he had a PR team where he says, I've worked with MMA fighters before, and there were many times that they would do videos and the person behind, the manager or the PR or the team would be like, cut that. Do not let that go out on
yeah,
because it's a protection of the brand. Because the
yeah,
athlete is their brand
yeah,
too. But
yeah.
in bodybuilding, you don't see that a lot. You see a lot of, there's a lot of emotions, and we all get very
Well,
emotional. We are
look
hungry,
at
and
look at Martin Fitzwater last year, how he lost so many endorsements because he did something with
Yeah, we
that
just
very in
yeah.
poor taste.
Yeah. Now
You
he's
have to
like,
be
yeah, the
careful.
bad boy of the sport. But that's not the image that is working for him, You're trying to put positivity, not pushing people away or, you know, things like that. Like the minute he stepped on stage to do his guest posing a couple of weeks ago or last week, whenever it was, he looked okay. I mean, right away the media went all over him, bubble gut and all this, he's behind. And if he had a better personality, I think, more positive, he wouldn't get that much bad press. That's what I
Mhm.
think,
They were
Well, some people
they
bring it
were
upon
waiting
themselves.
to say something. Yeah.
Yeah, they bring it upon themselves. But I think the point here is, I think mostly about talking about the women's side of the sport, is I really do think that the females, especially in the bodybuilding side, need to do a better job of promoting themselves, not only as athletes, but as human beings in a very difficult sport, in a very difficult world. And I think if they did, I think that it would certainly do a lot to help raise
Yeah.
awareness of the sport, maybe appreciate them, then maybe there'd be more competitions, then maybe the prize money would go higher, then maybe, it would
Listen,
be better for the sport all around. They have to take some responsibility. Don't you agree?
did,
Like they have to take some,
yeah, did
Yeah.
Arnold didn't have women's physique as well, right?
No, they
So
take it out.
yeah, now Brian Powers,
which is strange to me. I don't know
yeah,
why they think that.
Brian Powers, I used to speak to him a lot. We clashed a lot, we fought a lot, but where he is right, I will admit it. Once he told me what the guy comes from, like a Comic-Con background, promotion, right? The guy comes, the Arnold, since he took over the Arnold, it is going up, right? I mean, it's getting bigger and it's price money. He told me, Kevin, what brings in the people? Not all the divisions bring in the. Now, okay, we say women's physique. If Arnold doesn't like bodybuilding, if the women's physique is too close to bodybuilding, he'd probably say, I want that out as well. I want bikini. And what else do they have? Women's fitness, right?
I think they have wellness
The
too.
wellness, yeah. So, and he told me, what sells tickets? Does female body, not even 212, he doesn't have 212 in it either. He just wants the divisions that sell tickets. Classic physique, men's bodybuilding, and what they handpick the bodybuilders, okay? They handpick the people to promote the event. Greg Douchet, where he was never involved with the Arnold, Nick Power and Strength. Who else is there? If you notice, they all have millions and millions of subscribers. So that all works together. Now, if female bodybuilders had all these millions of subscribers, I guarantee you, Brian Powers will say, these guys can promote the show even more. So Sam Sulek. Now, if that guy had to compete at any other show or whatever, if didn't have those millions of subscribers, nobody would know about him, right? He competes at the Arnold Amateur, and
People go crazy.
he wins, right, or
Mhm.
whatever. Gets his pro card. He's invited every year now. Why? Because he gets all those followers. So he explained it to me in a way like it's not. He said, "I'm not against those divisions. It's just what brings in the people in a short amount of time, you know."
And that's
I
why I
mean,
say it's become a business.
And it's
it's a
become a
business.
business. It's like
Yeah.
magazine covers. Who was on the magazine cover? What did men prefer, or like Arnold or Frank Zane? You know,
Hmm.
Tom Platz or another freak.
Mm-hmm.
blonde American looking guy, and that was Joe Weider, was a business. It was already starting. Like today, I'm just gonna say, if we had a magazine cover, who would they want on it? Chris Bumstead, Ryan, what's his name of the men's physique, right? You get him.
Those guys would be on way more covers than
Ashley
bodybuilders.
Kaltwasser would be on practically every, she already is on many women's magazines, you know. It's they want what the majority of people want to see without us knowing the stories behind the other athletes. That's the thing, you know. And unfortunately it's happening and it's still happening, you know. Um I mean, if you look at the stats on an Instagram page, mine is like 90% men looking at men. You know, it's funny. You know what I mean? It's not like women are not going crazy over, you know, the freaks. You know what I mean? It's like the other last time this guy did a test on this guy. He put up 10 men, showed them their glutes, and he picked them all. And then he put 10 women and he couldn't pick them. And the guy was
Yeah,
straight. I
that's funny.
mean, and he said, "I'm killing myself here," but he knew who all the men were. You know,
Well,
that
listen, I mean, the sport is it's obvious because every time, Amanda, every time I take on a new client, I send them a questionnaire. I always say, what if it's a, whether it's a male or female, what physique do you aspire to? What is it? What is that you want to look like? I would say at least 9 out of 10 times for a man, it comes back in the realm of like a Chris Bumstead type of physique. Never comes back as a Hadi Chupin. I never hear Samson Dowda. It's always Chris Bumstead or Ramon Dino or one of the physique guys. When I ask women, it's never a female body. It's always, I want to look like Jen Dory. I want to
yeah,
look like, one of the, fit model. Sometimes if they're a competitor, maybe it'll be a figure girl if that's their division. But that's just the taste of it. So I think that if you want to, but I think that if all the other divisions to become more popular, I think that they have to become not these like look like these robots that are just out there training. Because a lot of people just they don't they don't understand that they just think that we're just a bunch of steroid taking, idiotic, stupid, muscle bound fools who all we do is go to the gym and all we do is train and all we do is eat and all we do is sleep. Most people actually still think that bodybuilders don't have brains when some of the smartest people I know are bodybuilders.
yeah.
Some of the most brilliant minds, bodybuilders and coaches, I mean, I could probably sit down and talk to your fiance. We could probably have a 10-hour conversation about the sport and not stop, him and I,
Oh, yeah.
because he and I are very aligned on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So it'd be and nobody would listen to that conversation and say, "Holy shit, these guys are fucking smart." Like they would say that. So I feel like as a whole, some people are doing a good job getting out there, but if all the divisions want to everybody always the goal that I remember from the leaders, get it into the Olympics, make it more mainstream, get big advertisers, not just supplement companies, but get Nike and all these big. And I think it's been maybe the sport itself that's been holding itself back because there's not enough people going out there and just telling the story and telling who they really are and what it's about and what training is about and what their education is, all this stuff, right? I mean,
And think about it. When you have a NFL, NBA, event, the guys are putting the effort into wearing suits or wearing some cool, stylish fashion that makes them look like they're going to the event of their lives, which they are. Now you have a lot of bodybuilders that go to their check-ins. They don't look like they want to be there.
Yeah.
They look like they just got out of pajamas. I know they're gonna go through the systems of like putting tans and all, but you can still look presentable. You can still create a buzz and have fun and make it into like a red carpet experience. No, no, they don't want to do that. And here's the thing. We cannot be sitting here and just think that we can live out of passion and people are gonna be happy
No,
just doing what they're passionate about. It's a business. It's a business.
no, it
yeah,
is.
I mean, I mean, now it's really become, listen, you can win every contest in the world, but if you don't know how to promote yourself and you don't know how to treat yourself as a brand, you ain't gonna make a lot of money. I mean, if you still look at like, Jay Cutler today, he's bigger now than he was when he was competing because he knows how to treat himself as a brand.
Yeah.
All the guys, you don't have that many millionaire bodybuilders, but the
Mhm.
ones who are millionaires are the ones who really know how to create a brand and branch out and promote themselves and take the time to treat fans right and make the videos and do it professionally and act professional and all that kind of stuff. So it's, unfortunately, it's not back like it was 20 years ago where big supplement companies are going to come to you after you won a big show and go, here's a $250,000 a year contract. It's not like that anymore. It's just
Yeah.
the sport's different. Now
Yeah.
you have to prove yourself that you have worth. And a lot of it has to come from, they'll look at you, they'll be like, I don't know, man, you have a great physique, but you only have 1,000 followers on
Yeah.
Instagram. That's
That's
not enough.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
have, you get influencers who's never competed a contest in their life. They have a good set of abs, but they got 4 million followers. Those are the ones getting the contract. So,
Yeah.
it's the athletes have to do a better job of just self-promoting. And I think it really relates because one of the things that I wanted to have you on the show for that Kevin and I both was to talk about the divisions and also to talk about how female bodybuilding is sort of dying in a way, and we do not want to see it die. We want to
Listen,
see it be big.
I mean, I'm very good friends with Wayne the Media, who used to promote the Olympia for many years. He used to have the Miss Olympia on a different weekend, its own show, and that withered away on its own as well. And then they combined it with the Mr. Olympia, and that fell through as well for a couple of years. And then Jake Wood brought it back, and it seems there was a little peak, and all of a sudden, when you start, like I said, when you start seeing the the Olympia qualifiers, there's nobody, and it's really sad because it's not like you're gonna see the same 10 women each year. You're not seeing you like in men's bodybuilding, you're always getting a surprise. Holy crap, look at this guy. Like the guy that won in Portugal last weekend out of the blue, he comes and wins, and there's always somebody new or that there has to be more. It's like this year's Olympia, who's gonna win? The Miss Olympia. She's gonna defend it again, right? I don't see
Mm-hmm.
her losing.
Mm-hmm. She
What's her name?
could, but
She
Andrea,
could. Yeah, she
Huh?
could. You never know.
Yeah, but
she
she's going
has
in.
Ashley Jones right next to her, which is incredible, and Livina. I think the three of them are in the league of their
All
own because
right,
they
they're
have
on
done
their own.
so
Like
many.
it's like they almost already know. It's like the 2-1-2. We know.
Yeah,
What's the name's gonna win?
Keon is
Natalia
probably.
Keon's
Tara.
gonna. I mean, but men's bodybuilding is at a point. It's so exciting because even we don't see the
We don't
defending
know.
champion as a favorite. It's been like that since Big Ramy lost his title. It's been going everywhere. There's no dominant figure anymore, which is amazing.
Oh, really? Ever since Phil Heath really lost his title, it's really kind
Yeah,
of gone old.
Yeah,
it's been up and down. Yeah, yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
But um it's just there has to be a bit more. Maybe the federation has to push it a bit, make it a bit more exciting. I don't know. Um
I think
Somehow,
it will come. It will come from the athletes putting effort.
yeah,
That's
it
what I'm saying.
does. It does. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you, I think many people try to help them out, but it's just like some promoters, it's like you said, it's a business. If for them to put out the money for this category or division and nothing's happening, they're just gonna drop it, you
They
know.
want asses in the seats. That's
That's
basically
it,
what it is. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
but Amanda, I know you probably because I know you're on prep and you probably have a meal almost
I
ready to
do.
go and easy. So I don't.
I've been
I
dreaming about
I
it.
know you. I know you, and I know how dedicated you are. And we don't want to keep you past because you're on prep. But just as a last word, we want it to come from you. Like, I don't know, if there's a girl out there who does look at you and says, "Man, I want to be like Amanda. I want to look like Amanda. I want to do what she does." What just general advice would you give to a girl starting out that would set her in the right direction in this process of becoming, an Olympian like you?
I think number one is really take the time to learn and investigate who your coach will be. Don't think just about the number of titles that he has or how many Olympias he has. Is about, does this person understand about the female
I wanted to ask
system?
you that. Yeah.
Does this person have a particular athletes that look apart, not just physique wise, but their zest for life while they're prepping? If they seem to be, having all the health markers also checked, besides how lean, how striations they have. I also like to have a coach that has done at least some type of sport in his life or her life, to understand what really feels like, so that the communication is not too far away from, like, when I look at one of my athletes, I can tell when they're going, through something, because I've been there before. I'm not gonna be there and saying, like, you gotta push harder, when I know that is a limit sometimes to the mind of the human body and the human mind. I also would suggest women to not only spend a lot of time on that, because it's very important. Take the time to figure it out. Don't treat your coach as a business transaction, the same as if you were, which I heard before in a podcast with somebody who is of actually very popular name out there. This particular person told her, well, changing coaches could be, it's just like changing your cell phone, company. One day you have Verizon, one day you have AT&T. So what, it doesn't matter. It's about choosing the business that you want to go to. So you're talking about a man or a female who is telling your partner to take X, Y, and Z, that is affecting her emotionally, hormonally, that is telling and dictating all the years that she could have in the course of her life, the side effects of the things that she's taking. You're treating that same person the same as if you were changing your cell phone company.
Yeah.
That's the disconnect of this industry.
Yes.
When you have a female who has a partner who knows nothing about bodybuilding and doesn't respect, all the science behind it, they are just looking at what is the coach that has the biggest name or the biggest, condition athlete. It just goes way beyond that.
No, doesn't
It's
mean it's
like,
going to work. No.
do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, like, just me as an example, I've been competing now for almost 10 years. If you look at me, I feel, amazed when you guys look at me and say, you still look like a female. That to me is also a win. It's not just how many, how many athletes, how many competitions have you won? So for these women, it's just take the time to find the right team, find the right, the right people in your corner that's going to really take the time to treat you as a human being, first of all, before treating you as a machine. And take your time, don't try to rush, and understand the things that you're taking, because it will have consequences in your body. And enjoy the process, because if you think about it, we are getting ready every single day for 10 minutes on stage,
Yeah. Or if you get 10 minutes.
if you get 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So what is really the bulk of your career?
Yeah.
Is the training, is the diet, is you preparing your meal, it's you planning the training that you're going to have, it's you having a meal with your training partner afterwards. So if you're not enjoying that, if you're not enjoying training, if you don't enjoy the process, why would you dedicate your entire life for just to have the bragging rights for your social media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
wanted to ask you before we end, because I wanted to ask you before. Do you think the problem is many male coaches take on females athletes, but they don't know really the human the female body? Just because,
100%.
like, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just gonna mention Chris Aceto doesn't have females.
No, no, he doesn't, and he doesn't want to.
Because
Um,
I think that's a whole different,
mhm.
they have to understand it's you
Kevin,
know
I've seen protocols that look like a full open bodybuilder. I've
yeah.
seen women taking 200 milligrams of trenbolone combined with 200 milligrams of testosterone combined with 200 milligrams of masterone, primobolan,
I see them
proviron.
on D-ball, Dianabol,
Uh-huh.
Anadrol. Crazy.
You name it.
Yeah.
I've seen it at all.
And probably I guarantee you, a male coach. I'm not gonna mistake mentioning names like Chris. They'll probably take on a female and they'll put her on a certain amount of stuff, and they'll just drive him crazy and say, "I can't handle this," and just let her go after all. The 3 months they spent with the person. So I think so I don't keep you. That I think that's a real big problem.
Huge, huge,
Yeah.
huge. For instance, I myself, I don't take more than five milligrams of testosterone per week. 5 milligrams is TRT for females, BHRT, bioidentical hormonal replacement. That's all I need. Why are women taking 200? And let me tell you something. Some of those women, okay, they're not winning.
No, no, no,
That's
They're
the
not.
point.
no.
I mean, if they were at least winning something, but some of them are not.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that's
So,
that's that's the
That's what I
truth.
wanted to ask. I mean,
No,
I
I
know
think that
Eric.
that was a good question,
Yeah, I know
actually.
Eric has a lot of female athletes, and I see him training athletes, and you have to have it's like you have to have a gift. You have to understand that
we're
you're
completely
working
different.
you're working with a female. You're working with a female that produce gives birth to a baby. You're working with a totally
It's
different.
it's
You know what I
it's
mean?
it's different from a biological process in terms of
Yeah,
how you want to treat them with chemicals, diet, and everything
yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah.
Also, there's a difference between personalities
Of
and the
course.
way women respond to things. And
Yeah,
one of the best things that I ever did, which I didn't know I was doing at the time, was that I earned my degree in psychology.
yeah,
And my degree in psychology has come probably into play equally as much as my knowledge of PEDs, training, diet, whatever, because I know how to talk to people. I know how to get them through tough times. I know
yeah,
why they're feeling a certain way at certain times. And it's very, very important with the females because, they sometimes feel so misunderstood or they're feeling things that they don't know why they're feeling, and you have to be able to talk them through and you have to be able to treat them the right way. Sometimes with guys, you can just say to them, stop being a pussy, and they'll respond well to that. You don't say that to a woman,
no.
So, I mean, and I think there's a lot of coaches out there who are irresponsible.
Yeah.
I agree, Kevin, that are with
I
training
wanted to
women.
ask that before, but
Shouldn't
then
be,
but
They don't even pay attention because they put somebody, and that's the problem too. They put a woman on some certain things, and then they leave them on for like months no end, and then they're like, "Oops."
yeah, like you'll see a lineup, somebody at an event. Let's say at an event, he'll have he'll have like 10 guys, open bodybuilding, 2-on-2, and then he'll say I have 3 women as well, bikini, and they're like how is this possible that you are switching off, you know I mean, I'm saying like total extreme, it's like
Yeah,
I can't understand,
you'll see male coaches putting girls on protocols, and the girls will be going, Coach, I don't know what's going on. My hair is falling out in clumps.
yeah,
Yeah,
And they'll be like, yeah, but we have a show coming up, so you got to do it. Are
yeah,
you kidding me?
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
problem if the girl's hair is coming out in
yeah,
clumps,
yeah,
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 and that's why, there's a difference, maybe a man doesn't give a shit if he's losing his hair because he'll just have a bald head
yeah,
like me.
yeah.
But, a woman like you, your hair's falling out in clumps, you're like, no, you know?
no,
So,
I'll go crazy.
and there will be coaches out there that will ignore that,
Yeah,
I
so
think it's a problem. It's a problem. And no, listen, there's a lot of great coaches, men and
certainly,
female,
many.
but sometimes it works the opposite way. You get a female coach and she'll coach a guy and just bring him in the best condition ever. It's like
They're
it
just very
works,
capable, yeah.
so anyways, I just wanted to put that
Anyway,
in. Yeah.
Amanda, you're amazing. Thank you so
thank
much for
you.
spending all this time with us. We so appreciate you.
Yeah.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime. And hopefully you're gonna see a lot of me coming up on the next shows.
Yes,
Have-
we keep an
Yeah,
eye
well,
on
we'll
you.
we'll have you on again after you've already placed like top 6 at the Olympia, and
Yes.
we'll talk about what the plans are going to be for next year.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll see you in the gym, which is
And we
always
have to
one.
get Dom on the show sometime.
Yeah, we have
Yes.
Dom on the show for
Yes.
sure. I'd love to have Dom. Oh
Yeah.
God, Kevin, you're gonna have to be quiet because me and Dom
No,
need to solve.
I'll just have a
Oh
beard.
yeah, Dom talks forever. Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
gosh.
I know him and I would be
I don't
ridiculous
mind just
together.
sitting back and listening. I mean, I've done it many times. It's like, all right, okay.
But
We'll do
Amanda,
that for sure.
Yeah.
I will see you in the gym, of course,
Yes.
training your ass off as you always are. And like you said, still having a good time. You're always in the gym, you're smiling, you're having a good time. And if you ever want me to increase your quad sweep and bring in your glute tie-ins, you know where to find me. So
Yes, I do.
you know I would love, love, love to help you. But thank you so
Yes.
much for being here. I so appreciate you.
Thank you
You're the best.
guys. Thank you
Thank
so
All
you.
right.
much.
Have a good
Thank
rest
I'll
of
you.
your
talk to you
Wednesday.
soon. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
It was a good one.
I told you, isn't she awesome? She's
To
just
be
great.
honest, I didn't know you know, I was gonna say, but well, when she started talking, I was like, okay,
Yeah, you
you
can
know,
figure out the way you can talk to
I
her.
was like trying to find photos and listening to her at the same time, and uh and no, it was I mean
She's fantastic. She's so
yeah,
smart.
she's a
She's
great
so pretty. She's so
great
engaging.
ambassador for the sport that they should use, you know.
100%.
I mean, look, she's almost at 200,000 followers on Instagram, and you know what Instagram does. She should be like at 500,000 probably, you know. Um, so
She's got it all. She's smart.
yeah, yeah,
She's beautiful.
yeah,
She's articulate. I mean, she's really smart.
yeah.
Really smart.
She's
Um,
Brazilian. I didn't know she was
she's
Brazilian.
Brazilian, yeah, 100% Brazilian, yeah. Um, and
Listen,
and
she's
she's
a
just a
top
great
five, a top three athlete. You know, she doesn't really place that low. So
she's a great person. She
yeah,
didn't do as well as she wanted to do at the Olympia last year,
yeah.
but
But you
she
know,
was
she
burnt.
said things weren't right. So
But I'm seeing her in the gym now, and man, she's improved so much. And she
yeah,
works. Fuck, man, that girl doesn't shit. Girl, that girl kills it in the gym, and always
yeah.
kills it
No,
in the gym.
I enjoyed it a lot. It's a change. You know, I mean,
Probably be able to find a lot of good shorts with her, a lot of good snippets.
yeah, I'm gonna go through it. Obviously,
And because she's pretty, so she'll attract eyes and she'll attract,
yeah, yeah. It's like I mean, no, it was great. Before we end, obviously last weekend, in in Italy.
Oh my God, we're still talking. We're still filming. I just realized I was thinking that we're off.
No, no, we're not off. No, no,
Did I say anything bad?
no, 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 no,
No,
no,
she's
no.
anyway. Yeah, so what happened? What are we talking about?
Um, uh, imagine. Oh, I hated the show. It's crap.
God, I can't stand that, Amanda.
No, I just make a quick thing. Edward won in Italy. William Bona came second. Um,
Well, isn't Edward the guy that we were saying
that
how
we,
good looking he was?
yeah, how amazing he looked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, um, you know,
Beirut.
everybody's talking, if Belarus went there, it would have been Belarus. I don't know what's going to happen at the next show if he's
Is it
going to go.
Dubai? Is Dubai next?
Um,
Because I think he'll get to Dubai.
no, Dubai's not. That's his show. That's his Olympia. That's the one
Right. So I think he's gonna qualify it.
yeah.
Isn't
So unfortunately, he does qualify a lot. But so Italy was last weekend. No, there's the Mr. Big Evolution on July 5th, this weekend in Portugal. I don't know if he's going to make it.
is he supposedly gonna try to make it there?
I don't
Or
know.
I don't see why he would get a visa there if they're not giving him anywhere else.
Let me see. If he's on the, you know, Mr. Big Evolution. Let me see if he's on the competitor list.
This poor guy can't.
Let me show you the competitor list. Uh, James Hollinshed's going to be there. Belarus, he's there. He's on the list.
On the list.
It's going to be a stacked show, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it looks to be like a lot of the same guys who've been competing lately,
Yeah.
and then just kind of.
But Bonac obviously Bonac's going to focus a bit on the Olympia now, and some latecomers. I mean, if Behrus goes in, I think he's the winner. I mean, I don't know all these bodybuilders. I probably know them by if I see their photo, but I don't see anybody beating him. It's a shame. I really feel bad for him. I feel bad for Milos as well. You know,
Well, it'd be a shame to not see him on the Olympia stage where he deserves to be. I
he
mean,
deserves to be fighting for the top five. You know, that's the way. That's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, this is
it
Milos.
sucks that listen, I know the world's a mess right now, but it just sucks as athletes who have nothing to do with politics that they
This is
be held
him.
back.
This is him a week ago. I don't know if I showed this. I mean, look at that. All right, the lights a
Yeah,
bit.
I know it's probably a little, but still, the guy looks incredible. I still think he's got one of the best physiques.
Can you imagine the motivation you have to stay looking like that?
I mean, his perseverance is incredible.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, look, I mean, he, he
I,
continues to work, continues to train, he continues to put up videos. I mean, if it was somebody else, they probably just say, screw it, I'm fed up
yeah,
now.
I mean, for most people, it would break their spirit. I
Yeah,
mean, it
look
would
at him.
break their
I mean,
spirit.
the guy, this is like 7 hours ago. I know, right? Maybe he trained last week or something, but can you imagine this guy walking on stage in Italy? I mean, in Portugal. I mean,
No
come
one's
on.
touching him in any of their shows. No,
Look at that. Look at his bicep. Look at that. I mean, come on. It's
no, the
just
guy is.
it's a shame. I really hate it when politics get involved in the sport. Um,
It sucks because he's just an athlete. He just wants to
yeah,
compete. He just,
he just wants to compete. I mean,
he's not talking about politics. He's not expressing anything about politics. He should be able
the
to.
guy just wants to come, go to Vegas, compete at the Olympia, and go home.
He just
That's all
wants to
he wants
compete
to
in the
do.
show and go home. That's it.
No
It's
politics, nothing like that. I
but
mean, um,
it
so
it would be a real. It would honestly. I mean, we believe. I'm sure he would qualify whichever show he would do, and
yeah,
it would really be a loss to the Olympia stage to not have him on it. It
yeah.
really
I
would be
mean, I mean,
because you're taking one of the possible top. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing it, but a possible top six threat
yeah.
and just removing him from the equation.
Yeah, I mean, and he's at his peak at the moment. He's not going to be like that forever. It's going to start going down at some point, you
Well,
know?
listen, if he starts getting denied show after show after show, eventually it's going to break your spirit and you're going to be
Yeah,
like, what am I
yeah,
doing this for?
yeah. I
If
mean,
you can never get to the Olympia where you belong,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think he speaks a little bit of English because he did last time, but hats off to Milos. Who knows how much he talks to him and motivates him and tells him things, and tries to keep his morale, up there. I mean, his motivation and things like that. I mean, he must be continuously on the phone with him, or it's not easy being a coach to a guy like
I'll
that.
bet you that Milos is more emotional about it than
Of
he than
course he
Beerus is.
is.
Milos is probably like, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, he probably wants to say that, but he can't to the.
Well, he can't say that. I'm not saying it publicly, but
Yeah,
he's
I know. I mean,
probably very upset for him.
it's crazy. But anyways, that was like, obviously there's that big bullshit stuff of that, what's his name, the coach and his AI post and all that
Yeah.
crap, and everybody's,
I think we talked about that last week a bit.
yeah, I mean, it's just it's a farce. I don't even, I just mentioned it now a bit, but that's all I'm gonna give it. Other than that, it's starting to heat up for the Olympia now. Uh,
We're getting close. We're getting
I think
closer.
Tampa's gonna be the peak, you know.
Tampa's
Um,
going to be a big show. Everybody wants to see what Nick is going to do.
yeah, yeah, and
Everybody wants to see what Regan is going to do. Regan's looking pretty freaky right now. I've seen him
yeah.
on Instagram.
I mean, listen, everybody's saying that Nick's gonna win, but hey, doesn't mean he's gonna win. I want Nick to win, and I want many guys to win. I want to see them at the Olympia.
I don't see Nick losing to anybody, but
No.
anybody could be beaten on any given day
Yeah.
in this age that we are in the sport.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So
Yeah, I mean, we don't know who's going to win. We honestly, we have no clue who's going to win the Olympics.
listen, if I've always said
Not
it,
like back when Ronnie was doing it.
if Reagan comes in the best condition possible, he's hard to beat, huh?
I still say he's a Mr. Olympian waiting. To
Yeah,
me,
yeah, yeah,
he's just got what it takes. He
yeah.
just has never ever. I don't believe he's ever shown up on stage at
No,
100%. Not
no,
yet.
no.
Even in a show that he's won, I still have believe that he has not shown up at his best.
No.
Because when you see him leading up to a show, he looks like he's about to take everybody down.
Yeah.
And then you see him on stage and you go,
It's
huh,
just like,
kind of what happened?
yeah.
Kind of like what I discussed with Rafa, where Rafa was like a few weeks out, he looks like he's incredible, and then he comes on stage, and even he says,
Yeah.
I'm deflated and I don't look nearly as good. So I got to
Yeah. It's
figure
like,
this out.
is that the same guy?
Is that the same guy? What happened to the guy I saw 3 weeks ago
It's
looking
like
like
their
the same?
body has a reaction to the tan. It's like it doesn't work.
They put a tan on, everything goes away.
Yeah, everything goes away. But anyways, so I guess that's it for today.
Yeah.
If you wanted to say,
Hopefully, more girls will follow Amanda and come on here.
yeah. Next week, until now, it's just me and you. We can talk about bodybuilding, maybe more Olympia stuff, and who knows what else. We'll talk about the contest this weekend,
Yeah, and we'll go over the last show a little bit more because we didn't really go over
Yeah.
it.
And maybe we'll have some good feedback from this interview today,
And maybe we'll get some Ask Merlin questions with those amazing graphics that you made.
Yeah, you have to start sharing those graphics that
Those
I did.
are really cool.
Yeah, I've been experimenting a lot with AI in a positive way. Mostly
One of my favorite things that you've created lately, and I'm just telling the audience, is the picture of you and me, our arms crossed.
I just
Such a cool picture.
I just
You just said to ChatGPT,
I
give me
just
this.
put our heads, and what was amazing is
That they showed the size differential between us.
they did the size. It's like shit. He made me smaller than Eric, But
Well,
everything was exact. I was like, what?
It's pretty
really, obviously it's when I'm watching Netflix I do these things. Yeah, here it is. Let me show it. Give me a sec. Wait. Took the whole bloody page. Wait. What the hell's going on? Okay. So you can give me a sec. We're almost there.
He's working it out. He's working
Just
it
working
out.
it out, so I show everybody.
Working it out.
So
stay tuned. Cool graphic coming up.
Yeah, the graphics
Podcast.
Yeah. So this is it. So all I did was I put me up to here, like shoulder, right? Are you seeing this?
I'm seeing it.
I put my shoulder here, and I just put like, I don't know where they got this shirt from. I just had your head.
Dude, that shirt is a shirt that I actually have worn. It's a Gasp shirt.
Yeah.
And that's a Gasp cap. But that shirt I don't have anymore because it finally got destroyed after like 10 years. But I wore that shirt that's on one picture of me standing next to Dave Bourlet, where Dave Bourlet competed in a show and I was coaching him and we took a picture with the trophy. And that's the shirt that I'm wearing with the hat backwards, and they picked that shirt.
And I said, listen, can you put our heads with us crossing our arms and a bit of lightning?
Dude, it looks literally exactly like
and I said, holy crap, my forearms, even that vein, I have the same thing. I don't know how the hell.
I know, and the veins, I'm pointing to myself, but the veins that go under my forearm here, those are my veins.
I really can't understand, man. It's just amazing. I mean, when you use it for a good cause, AI is amazing. I've been experiencing. I mean, I did a small course. I mean, the government has an offer that you do like a 2-hour course at home,
and then they give you the pro level ChatGPT,
the full version for a year for free. So I said, what the hell? I'll just do it. And you have more options. I mean, it can literally help you go through your emails and pick out the important emails for you if you want. And I set it up to send me bodybuilding highlights. It goes all through the internet, and once a day it sends me all the highlights of bodybuilding and what we should talk about.
I know it's amazing.
It's just it's like you're talking to like a genius. I don't know, but anyways.
I use ChatGPT. I'm not using the pro version, but even the free version is amazing. But I gave him a name, so when I log on, I actually call him by name, And then he calls
Yeah.
me back. He's like, "Hey, Merlin, what's going on today? What are we doing? What are we going to
Yeah.
create for you?"
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And like, it's so funny because when I'm done and like it's like it's so helpful, I
Yeah.
actually say thank you, like
Yeah.
as if I'm talking to a human being.
I
But for some reason, I still have to do it because I'm still thankful. So I'm
yeah.
like saying
Yeah.
thank you to the AI, and the
Yeah.
AI says back to me, "Thank you. It's so nice that you appreciate what I do."
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah. Yeah. So now at work, when I'm on break, I like I'll see my boss and I say, "Let me take a photo of you," and I just take a photo of their face, and I'll put them like driving Formula One or standing next to somebody. And but anyways, so
well, all right,
that's
that's
what
our show.
that's how I kill my time watching Netflix, making bodybuilding photos for the promotion and stuff like that. So anyways, I guess that's it for today.
Yep, great
And
show.
we'll be back next week. And yeah, don't forget
And
to
what do we
subscribe.
always say? Please like,
Yeah,
share, subscribe to the channel,
subscribe. Yeah.
ask me questions, make comments, all
You
that
know
stuff.
what's funny? On the blessing interview, we didn't talk about politics. And
And yet it got flagged for something, right?
yeah, because we talked a bit about Hadi and Behruz. Unbelievable.
Yeah, whatever. You
Two
can't,
minutes.
you
Two
never know.
minutes. It's crazy.
It's happened to us before, though. It
Yeah,
happened to
I mean,
somebody,
come on, man. Guys talk
not like a whole
about
discussion about,
a whole show. I mean, come on.
and you want to know why it's so weird, though? Because there are podcasts that literally spend the entire time talking about politics.
Millions and millions of views.
Right.
Millions.
And
Yeah,
yet it comes up for 2 seconds on our little
yeah,
podcast here,
yeah,
and they don't like it.
yeah. I don't.
So I don't
I
know.
don't know. Anyways.
Maybe if the political podcast would talk about bodybuilding for a minute, they'd get flagged.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. So that's it for today, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right.